So what I have to show you today is a extremely unique motherboard from AOpen that they had a couple of years ago back in the early Pentium 4 days. And the unique part about this motherboard is that it actually used a vacuum tube as an audio input or output device. So those of us who are kind of audio junkies and want something unique in a computer could get this machine and actually have the warm, sweet sounds of vacuum tubes. And that argument can go on from now until eternity. But it's kind of cool regardless. And I have had this motherboard in several different cases and in several different iterations throughout its life as I've had it. And I went to use it again to put down in my workshop, and I could not get it to post. And I finally broke down and bought a postcard, and you can kind of see it here. It'll look a little bit easier to see once I get the motherboard started. But postcard plugs into the PCI slot, or even an ISA slot, or a printer port if you happen to have a laptop that uses the printer port to reflect the postcodes of the motherboard. The other thing that's kind of cool about this particular postcard is if you didn't have the motherboard all sitting out here on the bench like I do, it has a remote display that shows the same stuff as the display on the main card. And also this particular postcard shows us the last 3 postcodes. So you'll see once we start it up here, the postcodes can fly by kind of quickly. So it gives you the opportunity to go back and look at the last 3 codes. What was actually wrong with this motherboard, the reason I couldn't get it to post initially, was kind of unusual in that down here on the AGP socket, you can see there's a little lever right here, and that lever locks the AGP card into the slot. And what had happened is the lever got jammed, so even though it looked like it was latched and everything was tight, the AGP card was never fully seating in the slot. And once I got it unjammed, I was able to put the card in the slot, and it all worked okay. And I found that, even though the card looked like it was seated, I found that because when I put the postcard in there, it indicated to me that there was something wrong when it was trying to initialize video, and I went and investigated that a little further and found that problem with that latch. So what I've done, just to kind of demonstrate a little bit what the postcard can do, I set up a couple of examples here where we are going to have post problems on purpose. So let me just flick the power supply on here, and we'll get server turn-on tool, better known as a screwdriver, and power this guy up. You can see the tube very vibrantly displayed there with all the blue LEDs around it. But our postcard is showing us no CPU. And in this particular case, what the no CPU means is not that the CPU is missing, but in all actuality, if we look up over here, we are missing our aux power. If you have a bad power supply or something of that nature, some other reason that aux power would be gone, it could be VRM modules, anything like that, same display would show. So let's power the motherboard back down and stick our aux power jack in here and get it back into standby and power it back up again. And now you'll see as the postcard goes through and gives us all the codes as the machine starts to post. And you'll hear the normal video beep, and then as you can see there, we got a bunch of 2 codes, and what that's telling us is that it's initializing the video card. And that always takes a little while for that to be accomplished. And we're going to see here quite shortly that we're going to stop again. 7F, 7E, 7D. These codes indicate that the machine is nearly completed with processing, but something told it to halt. Something actually in BIOS told it to halt on this particular error. And in this case, it's something very simple and adjustable within BIOS in that the keyboard connector is not plugged in. So we're going to go ahead and plug the keyboard connector in there, hit F1 to get the thing started, and then we'll see it go through and complete the post. So in this particular motherboard, 9596FF tells us that the machine is fully posted. And now it is up to whatever peripheral devices you have connected to it to go and continue booting the operating system of the that's installed on the hard drive or CD-ROM. 95 and 96 indicate initial pass to adapter ROM for booting, and FF indicates that that pass was successful and the board is going to boot. These postcards are pretty inexpensive. This particular one came from DealExtreme.com. It's kind of a screwy place. It's a Chinese company, and everything they have is free shipping, and it's all really cheap. It just takes a really long time to get it, and a lot of times they don't have things in stock and that kind of stuff. But if you can put up with all that, you can get yourself a real deal. And this particular one was only about $25, and with the remote display, it comes in really handy. In fact, I'm probably going to put that remote display in a little box, and so it's better protected from possibly getting shorted out while it's flopping around on the bench. Got any questions? Just send me an email. Otherwise, that completes the video. Thanks.